Jessica Hutchings is an author, mother, organic farmer, yoga teacher and kaupapa Māori researcher with a passion for well-being and hauora. Today, Jessica is making 2 types of fermented kai to rejuvenate our gut health. Kia ora, whanau,
Kia ora.
mate.
Tēnā
Hoki
koe.
mai.
Kia ora.
So kombucha is a
Right.
very big thing these days. Engari me mātua mōhio tātou, how te take me āta tiaki tātou I te puku. Why do we have to look after our puku in this gut health that's such a buzzword?
Yeah. And we want to look after our puku because it communicates a whole lot of things throughout our body. So it keeps us healthy and it keeps us well. If we eat too many processed foods, then we're not creating the conditions in our gut for really good bacteria to grow and to generate. Good gut health is about eating live foods, foods with culture. It's also about returning back to some of the kai of our tūpuna.
I think it's really interesting too because we say puku kino for when we're grumpy or when we're in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Puku kata when we're happy. So we know that if you get your puku right, you're getting your hauora right.
Absolutely.
What do people really need to know about how we make kombucha and what we're going to make today?
I think the first thing that we need to know is that this is the mother bug. So in here, this is what you would call your starter bug. Some people call it a culture or other people might call it a SCOBY. So we have to start with something like this.
So that's like the beginning.
Te putakitanga. And if you've got a friend who's got a SCOBY, then they can take a little bit of the SCOBY off and share it with you, or else you can buy them online.
Nā re hahanga mea e rua, ka hangai e tāu i te rane. What are we going to make today?
We're going to start off with the kombucha. We're going to make a brew with tea bags. We also too, when we make the brew, we'll be putting some sugar in, and that's not for sweetness. That sugar will break down and will help to create the really good gut bacteria. In the second fermentation, when we put it into the bottles, we can flavour it at that stage. Today we're going to use a little bit of grated ginger. We're going to put in a tiny bit of honey because that helps with the second ferment to get the effervescence and the fizz going.
Me te kai tuarua.
Ka pai. So these are the ingredients for our fermented vegetables that we're going to make.
Now, te pūtaketanga, this is the essence and the beginning of it, is the SCOBY, ne?
Yes.
How te tikanga o tēnā? What does this mean?
So the SCOBY is a mixture of microorganisms and good bacteria, and this is the mother bug.
Nā reira me pehe tō tiaki I tēnei mea. How do you look after this once you've got your SCOBY and how long can they sit?
For me, it's a little bit like being in the mara. Got
Aye.
to talk to it every day.
Aye.
Had to wash my hands before I touch the SCOBY, so you don't want to infect it with a whole lot of other bacteria, so you
Aye.
want to keep it clean. It's a bit like a bug for rewana
Aye.
or for sourdough, so it's about looking after it, and it's about noticing what's going on with it as well.
He mea ora, ne? It's living. So,
Yeah, it's living.
Koina te pūtaketanga, so we know that that's the base, and what do we do from here?
I've boiled the jug. We're going to put 6 cups of water in here. So you can tip that water into the pot. We're going to put that pot on the stove and turn the element on. And we're going to drop 6 tea bags into the pot. So going to let this come up to the boil. We're going to put a cup of sugar into the pot. It's going to provide kai for the drink to consume itself. So it's almost like it consumes itself and then it can grow the bacteria. This has been boiling for approximately 10 minutes. So if you can take the tea bags out, then I'm going to turn it off and we're going to let it cool down. We're going to pour the brew that we've just made into the jar because we're going to leave the brew in this jar between 7 to 10 days. I'm going to put the SCOBY on top.
O ki te whakaaro ake koe mo te taiao, so we're thinking about giving a little bit of that environment into the new environment.
Excellent. Tipping that in. Nice. Going to put this over it. And then for this part, once the lid's on, we're going to leave that between 7 to 10 days and it's going to ferment away. You want to check it. So you want to check that it's looking okay, that there's a little bit of bubbles coming up through there.
Koina ngā tohu o te ora, so that's showing that it's doing well, the bubbles.
Yeah, you want to see it fermenting, you want to see that fermentation process. So we're going to taste that now. So this has been sitting for about 7 days. We need to do a second ferment, Stacey, so we're going to put it in the bottles with an airtight lid on it and we're going to let it do all its effervescent magic in the bottle. So we're going to do a flavoured bottle today, so we're going to use a little bit of ginger.
And how much am I doing of this?
You probably need half a teaspoon, it's just for the flavouring of it.
Ka pai.
Beautiful. And just a little bit of honey in the bottle. Now we're going to pour this beautifully brewed second fermentation into the bottle. So you can see that ginger mixing around in there. And that's probably about enough.
Yeah.
Lovely. The most important thing now is to date that.
So we put on a little label for when it was made. So now how do you like to serve it up?
In the summer, I like to serve it up on ice with a little bit of lemon and a bit of mint.
Oh, te tiro ki tēnei. This looks amazing.
Beautiful.
Mauri ora.
Oh, mauri ora.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's lovely, really refreshing.
Tika though, it is.
And not too sour, so it's got that nice balance between sweetness and sour. Sometimes in the brews and kombucha it can be a little bit too vinegary, but this tastes great.
It's easy to drink. He pai mo tō puku.
Oh, it's easy to drink and, like you said, a glass a day.
Ngā hua whenua, ne?
So we're going to make fermented vegetables, and so if you could peel those carrots, I'm going to begin by cutting up the cabbage. So cabbage is a really good vegetable to use when you're fermenting veggies because it holds a lot of water content.
Ai. How e tahi atu hua whenua? What are some other vegetables that would be good?
Basically anything and everything can be fermented, and you could cut them really finely into matchsticks, but I find grating the carrots is a easy thing to do. Now, of course, if I'm using organic vegetables, I wouldn't be peeling this. Just, you know, if you're using organic veggies, you can keep the skins on. So if you can grate the daikon, and for some people they might not know this vegetable, but it's a beautiful vegetable, really easy to grow and really good to ferment. Okay, how are you going there? We're almost done. So we'll get a glass bowl and we're just going to layer the vegetables in. So I'm just going to layer a bit of cabbage in. So just going to put a little bit of salt in, a bit of daikon, a little bit of carrot. Now I tend to use my fingers to do this, so I'm just going to mix all of that round. This is the fun bit. This is something that tamariki can help with, so this is good. So I'm going to put the veggies in here, and we want to compress the vegetables down.
Te tiro ki te maha.
When we've got all the vegetables in there, we're going to push them down so the liquid comes over the top of the veggies.
It's just the liquid that's in the vegetables, isn't it?
It's just the liquid that's in the vegetables, and I'm just going to tip this in because this is the good stuff. And that is looking fantastic. So one of the things we need to do in order to keep this ferment happening is we need to weigh the vegetables down. So I use a rock.
Kohatsu?
And a cabbage leaf, a little bit of a cabbage leaf. And so this acts as a seal. So you can pop that in there, yeah, and push everything down. This is doing pretty good, but I'm gonna put a rock in there to keep it weighted down. Then we're gonna put a lid on it. Beautiful. So the other thing we need to do is we need to sit this in a bowl.
He oko noa ne, so just a bowl?
We're going to leave the jar in the bowl, and the reason for that is that sometimes it ferments and bubbles up and bubbles over. And then from here, it can be ready within about 3 days to eat.
How do you like to serve it up and eat it?
Well, we eat it in lots of different ways at home, so we might just put a little bit on our dinner plate. If you're doing an antipasta platter or something like that, you can pop it on alongside crackers or a little bit of avocado or sun-dried tomatoes, and then people can just help themselves.
He hākari e hoa.
Ai, he hākari.
Beautiful feast and beautiful for your puku.
Beautiful for your puku, really healthy.
Just to see, you know, how good this is. I'm going to sneak it on some cheese.
You can have it on anything really. Wrap it up in a piece of lettuce or on a bit of cucumber. So that's still quite vinegary. Really nicely fermented.
Te tahi hanawiti or in a sandwich, perfect.
Even in a little bowl of soup, just on the side with a little bit of toast or on top of the soup.
Ka mihi tō puku ki a koe, and your puku will say thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
He timatanga tino pai, such a good start.
Such a good start.
Koia kei a koe hoa. Ngā mihi nui ki a koe.
Kia ora.
I just love how you look at it. So much knowledge. Look, this is like your knowledge all packed into one. That's how jam-packed it is.
Yeah, well, it's like the love packed in there. It's great.
Te aroha nui me te mātauranga hoki kāre tua.